Now to get these bushings out, there's no polite way to do it. You either have to do a press, which I don't have, or just hammer on it with the biggest hammer you can find and try not to damage the rest of your arm. First, I'm going to let this thing soak for a while in PB Blaster, and then I just have to wail on this thing and hope that it comes out. Then putting the new bushing back in is a little trickier. There's some specialty tools that you can use that'll actually press it in. It's kind of like a clamp press that you can use. You can use a bearing or a bushing press as well if you have one of those. You can also just do it the garage DIY way, which is the way I'm going to do it, which is putting it in with a hammer and the best of intentions. So we're on for a bit of a journey here, but I'm going to let this soak, and then I'm just going to start pounding on it with a hammer and get this thing to come out. So should be fun. All right, so this takes a lot of PB Blaster and a big hammer and a little bit of patience, but it comes out. So the first one is going to be the hardest one. So what you're going to want to do is knock out or cut out the dog bone, and that'll just leave you with this ring, and you can use this ring on the other arm as a punch. So you can put this on top of the other bushing and use that to smash, and it'll push the other bearing or bushing out. So here's what I mean. So this is the other arm. So here's the sleeve, so you can actually put it on top of, and now you can use this to pound on, and it'll push that other bushing all the way through. So this becomes handy. So let's get this bushing out of here. Much easier with the second ring to do it. So I'm just gonna keep one of these in my extra tools set just in case I ever have to do this again. But that method works a lot better. That came out in about a minute and a half. The first one took a good solid 10 minutes to come out. So now we can install the new ones. Now the next step is to get the bushings back into the trailing arm. And truth be told, I've already attempted this once and I gave up because it just wasn't working. So I froze these bushings in my freezer. They've been in there for a couple of days, actually.
Okay, let's read, and I'm gonna put now.
So these should be, as small as they're going to get. Hopefully that's enough to get it to go back into the bushing. Into the hole. But we'll find out. So now I don't have a press. I'm just going to be doing this with a hammer, and hopefully this works. So without further ado, let's get to hammering. So there is an up and a down to these bushings. Sometimes they come marked and sometimes they don't, but just know that the bigger section, the wider section, that's bottom. So the thinner section right here, that's top. And then you'll notice the dog bone, it's not equal length, right? So the longer portion that goes inside the car, this goes out, outside, faces outside. So the correct orientation for this is up for the car. So long side goes in, going down, and then the thick part of the bushing towards me, like that. So that should be the correct orientation. And now the fun part, just start hammering. Lubrication never hurts. That was not easy. That sucked. Finally, I got it to go in right, but you can see like I had to get pretty aggressive with it. I pounded the crap out of this thing, even with, you know, the rings on it. But this one is in now, so it's flush with the outside lip like this. So that's as deep as it should go, but I hope that this is clocked correctly. It probably kind of moved around a little bit when I was putting it in there, but yeah, the only way to find out is to put it in the car and to see, you know, if this starts to bind up the bushing, then I've got to readjust, try to clock to match the angle of the suspension. But this one's in, so we'll get to the next one. Same process here. First thing is just clean it up best I can. These arms are already pretty clean. There's not much rust on them or grime, which is really nice. I just like to get it as clean as I can. Nice starting point. You know, usually from a junkyard part, you want to, you know, repaint it or something, but these are actually pretty good. The factory rubberized coating is still on here, so I don't see any reason to repaint. The next, lubrication. So this is just silicone. Trying to be very liberal with my silicone. Same business here with my bushing. Give it a lot of lubrication here. Okay, so same deal as before. So this is up. So this goes in, and then the fat part of the bushing toward me. Yeah, I'm trying to align my mounting point. There's a factory mark. You try to get that kind of as square as you can at 6 o'clock. I think that's about it. Now the fun part is pounding. Headphone users beware. There, so it's finally started. You notice how there's like wobbling in and out everywhere I hit it. So my strategy is I try to walk it in. So I hit here, then the opposite, and here, just trying to walk it in, not getting one side too far ahead of the others. So here we go. All right, there we go. So it's flush with the arm on the outside. Let's make sure the rear, yep, pushed through just like it should be. Perfect. Now you want the bushing to be flush with the outside arm. So there's like this nice little cup area for the bushing, and you want that to be level. You don't want it to be standing proud, and you don't want it to be too recessed. Otherwise it's going to throw off the geometry of your suspension, and it'll just be bad news. So you just want it to be flush with this outside lip on the cup. Same on this side. So it's flush to the touch. And then just make sure that everything is in squarely, so nothing's standing higher than anything else. So I think I have my mounting bolt clocked correctly, but really the only way to find out is to put it in the car and to see if it's off. If it's off, then you just have to get creative and clock this thing as it's in the socket, which is not easy. But hopefully the car gods are smiling upon us. So that's trailing arm number 2 done. So now we'll just reassemble everything and these should be ready to go. Now it's just a matter of reassembling everything and just getting these ready to be installed in the car. So let's take out these. I'm just going to put this old crappy rotor back on for now. You know, just peace of mind, I guess. But I'm definitely going to replace these. They're not going to work for me. So I've already taken the pads out of these just to make installation easier. Pretty simple. Just slides right back. Oops. This is why I put everything back where it came from, because now I know exactly what bolt is what and where it came from, so I can avoid cross-threading stuff. And I'll just get these hand tight. Again, I don't have any pads in here, so I'm going to have to disassemble these anyway. Plus I need to replace the rotors. So once I do that, I'll re-torque everything back down to factory. But for now, hand tight will do, because they're not going back in the car for a while. Actually, I'm going to do one. I like to make sure that everything is free, so this can swing open for a brake change. Yeah, it's not fouling on anything. There we go. Cool. Hand tight will do it. There we go. Got reassembled trailing arm with a really messed up rotor. That's alright, that's all replaceable. Look at that. It's just funny. That's brake pad material that's been seized onto the rotor itself. Gross. You ever wonder what not to do with rotors? This is number one. Don't go at it with a flathead screwdriver. Alright, well, that's job done. Perfect. Well, that's great. I'm finished up with the trailing arms now. They have their new bushings.
All the stuff on there that needed to be taken off is taken off. So the ABS sensors are gone, the parking brake cables are gone, and the old brake lines are gone. So they're just a bare trailing arm right now, which is exactly what I needed. So they're ready to be just swapped right into the car, but I do need to do a few things first. So I'm gonna hit pause on installing the rear discs for now, just because there's a few things ahead of it in priority. So first of all, I want to get the new suspension on there. I need to put my max speeding rods in. I'm going to swap out the tires. I'm hoping to do that soon. And then, that should be it. It's tires and suspension are really what I want to handle first, and then put in the new disc brakes. And then I can take it to go get an alignment, because I want to get it aligned after I put my new suspension in. I don't want to have it aligned twice. So we'll handle that all kind of as one big suspension job of doing the coilovers and then the new disc brakes with the trailing arms. But in the meantime, I need to get a few parts ordered. So I need to get new brake lines. I'm going to do with braided brake lines for the entire car, front and back. And then I need to source some new parking brake cables. From what I've seen, I think the Civic SI parking brake cables will work with this application. So I'm going to be, I just need to order those new from Honda. There's no sense in trying to go find them in the junkyard or anything. So I'll just order a new set of those. And that should be it. Oh, and of course, rotors. I need to get new rotors. After looking at these ones are just too hammered. They're not going to work. So I'll get a new set of rotors. They're not very expensive. Pick those up, and then new set of brake pads. And then this should be all good to go. We'll put those in the car, and we'll have a complete disc brakes on all four corners, which will be awesome. So that's the plan from here, guys. So that's the end for now of the teardown and rebuild of these trailing arms. So next time you see these trailing arms, hopefully they'll be going in the car. All right, thanks for sticking around. I'm sure you saw like a million things that I did wrong in this. I'm still learning a lot, so if you would, it'd be really helpful for me, because I'm still learning. It'd be really helpful if you could tell me the things that I just didn't do right, or if there's easier ways to get those bushings in, or if I disassembled or reassembled something incorrectly. Please, by all means, let me know, because this is really, me trying to learn how to do this stuff, and I'm kind of learning by trial and error, but it really helps when you guys actually tell me things that you know, because you guys are far more experienced than I am. So anyway, that's my spiel. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe out there. Pandemic is still going on. I know it's crazy, but we'll get through it. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you in the next one.